Here's Shulamit.
Hello. It's really lovely to see all of you. I would like to know if by a show of hands, who who of you has an ethical will that you've already written? Shosh and Mark sort of, and Steve kind of, and Zoom user, my friend Ilana. Okay. And the rest of you, have you heard of an ethical will? Has it intrigued you? Is it something? Okay. So the first thing I want to talk about is some differences. So, and the question that usually comes up first is, if you don't know exactly what is an ethical will. So my favorite answer to that question is it's the things you want to leave for people that aren't your diamonds. So that's just, a quick little tip. So not like look at your favorite artwork or where your jewelry is going to go, but what's important to you in your life and what things would you like people to know about you when you're gone? And there are several other kinds of wills. We know that a regular will is the place where you do say where you want your diamonds to go. And then there are healthcare wills that you can write to tell people how to take care of you at the end of your life, if you want to be intubated or you don't. Those are two other kinds of wills. They're very separate from this. When you make an ethical will, you're not giving anybody permission to go to your bank or get your money or take care of things for you. You're only telling people what it is you would like them to know. Some people call it a legacy letter. It's a way to share your values, your blessings, your life lessons, hopes and dreams for the future, love and forgiveness with your family, friends, and communities. So I think we just talked about the differences between an ethical will and a living will and a legal will. The ethical will is a written explanation of how you feel about your religion, your ethics and morals, and the life that you have been leading and are leading now. So I hope that you all have something to write with. It could be your computer or your iPad. It could be a piece of paper and a pencil. That still works, in case you were wondering. You can still write things. I would like you to just take a few moments now, take a big deep breath, and think about the ethics that live with you in your life. And see if you can just jot down a few ethics that are very important to you, whatever they might be. What guides you in the area of how you interact with other people, of how you do business, of how you walk in the world?
I'm sorry, Shulamit. Could you repeat? I was busy doing something on the technical side.
I could repeat.
Thank you.
I'm talking about ethics, and I'm asking what ethics are really important to you. How do you walk in the world? What guides you in that way? What are the most important guideposts for living a real ethically clean life for you?
Mark, when you talk, I can't hear you. I hear Shulamit perfectly, but I can't hear you.
I'm not saying anything,
Thank you
Sandy.
very much.
You're Velcro.
But when you do speak, I wasn't hearing you.
Okay, well, make sure you do. Take another minute or two in writing. Anybody have something they'd like to share? Shosh.
I mean, and this is really I did print out my Jewish learning piece, but I didn't do it. So this is just top of my head here now. In this order it came out: honesty, kindness, and equity.
Beautiful. Somebody else, Mary.
It's interesting because I've never written an ethical will, but what I did when I found out my dad was very sick was I sat and wrote him one memory a day, and I did it for 175 days.
Wow.
And I was rereading them today, and he saved them all. He printed them all out and he saved them in a file that's about this thick.
Wow.
But the thing is, how many of the same things I kept hitting again and again and again. Things like not talking about other people, things like using integrity when you work with people, things like not making a big deal out of something that's not supposed to be a big deal. So it was really helpful to look at it from that perspective too.
Good. Anybody else? And hello, Gail. It's nice to see you.
George has his
Sandy.
hand up, Shulamit.
Okay, George, you could go next, and we'll have Reb Sarah go right after you.
I think in the of the Amidah, where it says Eved Naaman, Moses was a faithful servant. I feel like that's my job in life. How to go about it is it's all in the details, but that's the biggest thing for me.
Lovely, wonderful. And Sarah, you were next. You have to unmute, honey.
Many years ago, Shulamit, I was with you and Jerry was with you, and we wrote an ethical will. Remember way back when?
I do remember that quite well, actually. Yeah.
Very sadly, when we looked for Jerry's ethical will after he passed away, it had disappeared.
Oh,
And then I looked for mine, and it disappeared. So I'm delighted that you are doing this class. So for me, living life in integrity, with integrity, modeling a spiritual life for my family, my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren now. Growing and learning.
all important to remember.
And showing up whenever possible for somebody else.
Amen. Beautiful. Thank you. So there are all kinds of questions that.
Stephen has his hand up too.
Oops, Steve, thank you, Reb Mark.
You're
I'm
welcome.
somehow not seeing that. Stephen, please. You have to unmute yourself.
I thought I did. It didn't work for some reason. Anyway, I agree with Shosh. Kindness. I wrote loving kindness. But the two that I have along with it, humility. Pride is a deadly sin, I've heard. And humility is the opposite of pride. And the concept of tikkun olam, to heal the world, to do good in the world, to make a positive contribution to the outside as well as grow on the inside. That's important to me. You have to do both.
Lovely. Thank you. And Moshe, please.
I had some overlap, so I won't mention those, but things that came to my mind were beneficence, caring, love, gratitude, awe, and holy listening.
Wow, fabulous. Yep. Anybody else?
Well,
I
even
would
though
all,
even though Moshe just said it, I will say it because I also it rose for me, which is listening, because listening is the way that we express love.
fabulous. It is a way of expressing love and something that's very important. And maybe love and kindness and the spreading of those is the thing that we can all really do. It's the blessing that we can give to the world. And if I were to sum up all the things that you've said, I would have to say that that means living by Jewish values. Yeah? Is that close for everybody? At least that's what it seems like to me. So some people want to know when to write an ethical will. And I would like to tell you that you can write it at any time at all. So I think I have 3 or 4. I'm trying to put them all together at this time. None of us know when we're going to leave the earth and want to have an ethical will around. And as we move on in life, sometimes things change and we need to go back and change them. Probably not the things about the ethics and the things that we live by, but perhaps some of the stories. And I'm going to get into that in just a moment. So write your ethical will anytime. Sometimes people get stimulated to do it when there's a crossroads in your life. A baby is born, or someone important passes away, or as Mary said at the beginning of the class, someone is ill and you want to share things with them. If you got married, or you reached a certain birthday that felt really important to you, those would be some other times that you might want to write one. And certainly if you think that you are dying, that would be a time when you'd want to write one. So why do you want to write this? Anybody have any ideas as to why you want to write an ethical will? Steve, I think you just unmuted.
Yeah, to learn about yourself.
Excellent answer. Excellent. Anybody else? Maybe there are things you want your kids to know, or your kids' kids.
That
Mark,
was exactly what I was going to say. The other day, I am the luckiest guy, maybe the luckiest rabbi on the face of the earth. I get so many beautiful notes from Moshniks from time to time, and my kids don't know they don't know this about me. They don't know this side of me. And so I said to Renee, I really need to start collecting these in order to share this with them at some point. So I'm kind of multiplying on what you had just said, Shulamit.
I think that's great. That's wonderful. It's one of the biggest reasons for me, because I think that my children only know me as mom. They don't know me as the person who leads meditation or a teacher of pastoral counseling or even as a chaplain. I mean, they know that I did that work, but they don't know what it was like for me or why I thought it was important or where it took me in my life or why I pursued it to begin with. So that leads me to say that one of the best things to do in an ethical will is to tell some stories. Perhaps the parts of your life that were very important to you that other people might not know. So I'm going to share with you something that I share in writing stories in the workshops for people who want to write a story, is to make a top 10 list. And yes, I did get that from David on TV. But the kinds of top 10 lists I'm talking about would be things like the top 10 places you have visited in your life. So if you make a list of however many that might be, you can then tell a whole story around that place. So when you visited in London and you met people and they shared things with you, maybe something came out of that that you want to share with other people. Or perhaps it's just something about the importance of broader education through travel and through personal experiences. So you want to share those experiences so that the people you're leaving them for might be more likely to do those kinds of things, to really realize how important it is. And that travel is education in many ways. Can also be a lot of fun. Yep. Take a few minutes, make a list of the top 10 places that you've been in your life so that you have it for a little later, then you can write something about it for your will.
So I really loved it because it helped me get clear because it was so quick to be able to answer the questions. And, I was able to pick two of my best decisions and one of my worst decisions. And, but the going with the best, it really gives me the framework and the energy, like, oh, yeah, what are these things I want to share? And then I've also done a practice where you can write love letters. So if they're like individual letters to people that are much more personal, that you wouldn't want to broadcast everything.
Right. And absolutely, you can do that as well. You don't only have to have one.
Mm-hmm.
You can have several directed at different people if that's what you prefer.
Mm-hmm.
And along with the things we've been talking about, the decisions you've made and what comes out of them and what your ethics are, you might also want to tell stories. Stories from your life, memories that are really important to you. For instance, I feel like my children didn't know my parents as well as I would have liked them to. So I want to include some stories about them and what I think made them so special and how we were able to heal our relationship. Something I would love to see happen with my children and me as well. So you share the good things and the not so wonderful things, the hopes and the disappointments, and the stories that go along with all of them. So I wanted to read you an example of a living will. And I have a couple of them that I can read to you, and many of them have been, there are books just full of wills that have been written even many, many years ago. But I changed my mind this morning because of a friend of mine. His name is Lance Lubin, and since he posted this on Facebook, it's open to anybody who wants to know about it. And my wonderful friend Lance, we've been friends for at least 25 years, was diagnosed about 2 years ago with ALS. And this is the post that he put on Facebook this morning. I've been debating whether or not to post something about this, but today, on the anniversary of my sister Lisa's death, seems the right time. Some of you know what's been going on with me. Most of you do not. February 14th of 2025, I was diagnosed with ALS. I am declining rapidly. Although I've never been a fan of people advertising their maladies on Facebook, I tell you this because if you see me in person, you will wonder what the hell is going on. And if we are friends on Facebook who have not met in person or I have not seen for a long time, I do not want you to be shocked at the news of my passing. I am not afraid of death. As a matter of fact, I'm quite excited. The two big adventures in any human life are birth and death. I've absolutely no idea what happens after death, but I figure it's either nothing, in which case I'll not know, or something good. Either way, I'm eager to have the answer to one of the biggest mysteries of existence. I'm getting the best care possible and surrounded by loving friends, relatives, and the most incredible wife imaginable. I am in no pain, am not depressed or anxious in any fashion. I'm enjoying the hell out of each day. A major reason for this is Medicare. Without it, we would already be bankrupt. So things are going very well, and there is nothing like imminent mortality to crystallize the incredible beauty of this world and make you appreciate even the simplest things. Sweets have never been sweeter, and clouds never fluffier. Prayer is not my thing, but I know for many of you it is a cornerstone of life and the way in which you express your love and care for someone. And one cannot discount the power of focused energy. So if that is meaningful for you, pray away. But don't pray for me. Pray for my wife and those I leave behind. I ain't dead yet. Rest assured, I will not die as long as Trump is in office. So I will make periodic updates as to my condition, but rest assured, I am in a very good place. And if this post isn't clickbaity enough, be sure to see the photos of celebrity wardrobe malfunctions at the Oscars in the comments. I think it hits every mark of an amazing ethical will. I'm so delighted for him and so proud of his attitude, and it helps me in a way that I can't even really describe to you. I hope it was meaningful for you as well. Okay, now, anybody have anything that they wanted to share from being in the breakout rooms? Did we get back there? And someone just texted something.
They texted Alana saying wonderful, thank you.
Mhm. Anybody have anything they want to share at this moment?
Yes,
Okay,
Donna.
go for it.
That one of the decisions that I had made was to trust in myself. And being a child of the 60s, when it was very chic to disregard and hate your parents, I decided that they were the wisest people I knew, and that my contemporaries were basically uninformed idiots for the most part, and realized that it was a scary but valuable decision to live as an authentic human being, and that I learned that early, and I was very grateful.
Yay.
And it's one of the things to my younger friends that I can pass down is strength in their own common sense and desire to be authentic human beings and not a bad copy of somebody else.
Wonderful. That's beautiful. Mary,
I
please.
think this whole process this time has hit me in a way I didn't expect to. And part of that is I was the oldest of 6. I'm now the oldest of 3, which means that 3 of my siblings have died, and they were all younger than I when they died. And that just is too much, you know? It just, and some of them we got along well, and some of them there were issues that would have been nice to sort through beforehand. So I'm trying not only to take now and work with now, but also to bring some of the other stuff back in and work through that. So thank you, I think.
I hope it's useful for you, Mary. I think, so the next question I want to ask you is to think about what are the biggest memories that you have? And I'm suggesting that you separate time frames. So from the years of 0 to 12, what was your best memory? Can you get into that place for just a minute? Take a deep breath. Think about that time. What was it like for you? Where were you living? Who were you with? What kind of friends did you have? What occupied your time? And then the most important part is, what did you learn from all of that? If you could go back to that time, would you do things differently? I would imagine at 0 to 12, you didn't have a lot of comprehension of what life was about, etc. But when you get into a time frame, say from 20 to 30, or from 30 to 40, looking at those memories in your life to discern not only what the great memories were, but then what you learn from those times that you want to live. And again, for me, a lot of it has to do with stories that I want my kids to know that I think they don't know. And here's another thing I want to talk about, and that is where or how to write your ethical will. So some of us write very well with a pencil or a pen and a piece of paper, and some of us can type pretty quickly, and some of us only peg in. But you don't have to do it in writing. You can do it as a video. We live in an age when all of these things are available to us. So if you'd rather talk it, pick up your phone and talk into it. I have a newer practice of journaling by voice. I just pick up the phone and talk into the journal on my phone. It has more spontaneity for me. It's if I'm really doing a story, I'm going to sit down and type it. But for journaling kinds of things, it works very well. And for some of you, it may be the way to write your ethical will. Yeah. Questions? Anybody? Questions, thoughts, wonderings?
I have a question.
I'm ready to answer, I hope.
What is the difference between a living will and an ethical will?
Okay. A living will is the document that you write to tell people what you want at the end of your life. So a very good one, for instance, is called 5 Wishes. So it basically has 3 parts. It's the first part is who you want to make decisions for you if you're not able to make them for yourself. So you need a healthcare a person who's able to make those kinds of decisions. I usually say that it should be someone who likes you.
Right.
If they don't
No
like
question.
you, you probably shouldn't have
Yeah.
them be your healthcare person.
Right. Stay away
The
from
other
the plug.
thing, that's right. The other thing is that it should be a person who is able to do what you want. So for instance, if at the end of your life you don't want any what's it called?
Heroic.
Heroic is the word I was looking for. Thank you. Heroic measures. And the person who is your partner or your spouse would never be able to pull a plug. They shouldn't be your healthcare surrogate.
Mm.
Okay? Those are the 2 things I think are important. And then it gives you a chance to say things about how you want that to happen. In other words, if I'm in trouble, I want you to do everything you can to keep me alive. I don't care. Just do it. Or you might want to say, if I can recover and be normal and have a life, okay. But if I can't, I don't want you to do that. Or you might want to say, I don't want you to do anything under any circumstances. And these are decisions that only you can make. And it's important to step into your power and make those decisions and make sure that you have that living will. When I was doing trainings at the hospital for the staff, many of whom were very young, they would say, I don't need a living will. I'm too young. Nothing's going to happen to me. And I would turn to them and say, excuse me, but aren't you a nurse on a helicopter that picks up people of all ages? Oh, yeah. We all need them. Your children need them. The 5 Wishes is my favorite because it also gives you 3 more things that you can choose to talk about like how you want to die and what you want your funeral to be like. But if you don't want to do all of that, just get a single page and make yourself a living will. Ilana, did I answer your question?
Beautifully as always.
Thank you.
Thank
dear.
you.
Any questions about living wills or ethical wills? Okay, and we all know that a legal will is a totally different thing, right? And it's in the legal will where you can have someone to take care of your finances. Yes, Susan, please.
Is it good if you don't have any family like me, no children or grandchildren or anybody? Is it good to think of somebody who you hope might read your ethical will
Absolutely.
when you die in order to figure out how to orient it or what to say or or how to do it if you really don't have anybody else that is, part of your close family? So how do you really kind of orient it?
So if I were you in that position, I think I would be thinking about many of the people on this screen. And then I would take it to Shabbos morning when you come. And I would bet you that almost everybody on that screen would be interested in hearing what you've learned in your life. And you're such a beautiful writer, and you have so many stories to share with us. Those are all part of an ethical will. So think about us. We'd like to know what you learned in your life and what you'd like to leave behind.
Really? That's very hard for me to yeah, it really is.
What would help, Susan?
Can't
Can
answer
I,
that.
can I offer a possibility, Susan, knowing you in the way that I do? And I think this would go perhaps for anyone who is a private person, which is to perhaps not have to choose a few people, but not have them read your ethical will until after you passed on. Examples of people who you might want to be on that list is me or David Schneier. People who you know are going to be with you in times of trouble, health challenges, and also, God willing, with you when you are buried. And so, I mean, there are things that I know about you, you've shared with me, but there are things, how do you want to be remembered? I would want to know specifically the answer to that question before I represented who you were. So it may not be me, it may not be David, it might be somebody else, but certainly there are a few people who you care enough about and who you know care enough about you that perhaps they'll be on that short list.
Thank you.
I hope that resonates a little bit, and that
Thanks.
Thank you, Reb Mark. That was beautiful. And I want to say that if I were to condense all my thoughts into what's the one main purpose of having an ethical will, it is to tell people how you would like to be remembered. What was important to you in this life? That's how you want to be remembered, by the good deeds that you did. So maybe you need to talk about that just a little. To ask people to smile at people when they walk down the street. That's sharing kindness and letting people know that you're connected.
I'm going to add to that, which is, what are the 3 favorite poems of yours, Susan, that you have written?
Yeah. You've written some beautiful ones. Yeah.
That's something that we would want to hold.
Yes, it is.
To remember you by. That's your gift to us. Shosha Moshe have the hand up.
Yes, please, Shosha Moshe.
On a more living will area, Susan, I'm hearing that you don't know who's going to stand up for you because you don't have a relative. Now, in my experience, our relatives aren't always the best, but there are entities, synagogues have caring communities, hospitals have ethics committees, many health systems have ombudsmen. So if you're going to stay in an area and you can sort of get someone to know you, because they're going to defend your final desires. And so if they have a certain authenticity and you spend some time with them, that's another way to have your wishes for end of life care. Not all the what you want to be remembered for, but so there are some structures that can be tapped into.
I just wanted to add back to the kind of the prompts for writing your stories. There's something called Storyworth. Are anybody familiar with Storyworth?
Yes.
Yeah. Am I right? My son and daughter bought me that for Mother's Day a year and a half, almost 2 years ago. I have not been doing it very diligently. I want to. I'm going to ask them to renew it again. But that has some wonderful prompts for telling stories. Right?
Yep. And there are several others around also that do that kind of thing, that lead you through how
Right.
to figure out what to do. There
And
are multiple workbooks. And I just want to take a chance and say hello to Myra Siegel, who was there. I don't know if she's
She's
still
there.
or not, but I hadn't said hello to her. Hello, Myra. Nice to have you here. Okay,
Glad to be here.
good. Anybody have anything they want to add to this? So the areas inside of we're back now to ethical wills, are going to be memories, stories, and the lessons that come out of those stories. The big things that you want people to remember about you, about how you lived your life, where you lived your life, what you did with it. It can be chronological, or it can be scattered, little pieces here and there. Whatever works for you. I'm going to suggest that you don't do what I've done. I've done so many stories on my computer, and they're all in different places. Trying to find them and put them together in one place is difficult. So try to put them, when you read them, try to keep them in the same place. It's a piece of practical advice. Okay. Any questions about what we've been talking about? I'm going to read you one more brief piece of an ethical will, not written by me, written by someone that I got out of a book. She's talking to her children. Thank you for allowing me to hold you in my arms and in my spirit for a short, precious time. Thank you for teaching me to be a parent and a better person, allowing me to grow through your growth. Thank you for your innocence that kept me from becoming jaded, gently urging me to look at the world differently through your eyes. You help me to see so much more. Thank you for your patience through my struggles to become the best I can be, best parent, best wife, best friend, best person. Thank you for guiding me through the maze of inconsistency that was my constant nemesis and reminding me of what is really important. You may have taught me more than I have taught you. I pray that some of my words found their way from my heart through sometimes deaf ears and a stubborn brain to your heart, because that was where I tried to send them. My whole life of parenting, I have struggled with an inner dichotomy of what is truly important. Life is more about how you treat people and how you feel about yourself. Learning how to be gentle with your own shortcomings while striving to become better. Those are the kinds of things that people would like to hear about what you've learned. Most of us on the screen are a little older. We've lived, we have some wisdom. Somebody mentioned humility near the beginning of this, I think. And my favorite definition of humility is taking up just the right amount of space. And the people who are still here would like to have the knowledge that you have. I'm suggesting that this is a great way to share it. Yeah. Got Mark.
I have a question,
Okay.
which is where do the statements about "I'm sorry" go? Do they go in an ethical will?
Yes. I believe they do. Absolutely.
Because sometimes it feels like it would be a burden to a loved one, someone I'm leaving behind, um, for, um, in other words, why did he wait until he was dead and for us to read this to say, I'm sorry? Or maybe it's why did he wait? Because he has nothing to be sorry about. And I wish I could have asked him now. This is part of the category of all the things that, my father's been dead for 36 years, my mother now 10 years. And the questions I didn't ask them grow, you know, every year. And I turned to my sister and now she's, I don't know.
It's
So,
the same thing for me.
so I'm asking two different questions, but really the same question. Like, what's TMI? Do you have any feel for that?
Hmm. I think everybody is different. And although there are things that I have apologized for in my ethical will, I've also apologized to the people. So I'm just recapping in a way. It's not, I don't think, hmm. I write my ethical will mostly for my kids. And I've expressed to both of them many times that I wish I could have had more wisdom when I was raising them. But I was a child and they were children. So there's very, yeah. So I have apologized. And yet I think there are lessons that come out of even having done that. So I might write, even though I've told you this before, I need to say again, whatever it is.
Yep.
So I think that apologies are a big part of ethical wills, Mark. But that doesn't mean you have to put them in there if it's not comfortable for you.
Yeah, that I understand. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for the question. And Shosh, please.
But do we have to assume that the ethical will has to wait till we die to be read? I mean, no, because I mean, the more almost forgot about it. I have to look on the computer, assuming I can find where I put it, Shulamit,
Okay.
because we did this in my Hashpa'ah program,
Right.
as you would know. We wrote it, and I remember Reb Nadja said she actually writes hers and rereads it and rewrites it every year on her birthday. She takes that opportunity to kind of revisit it to see if it still makes sense. But I did write it, and it has some apologies in there. It brought tears to my eyes writing it, and I would share it with my kids. Not tomorrow necessarily, but at some important point.
Absolutely. And I will tell you that I taught this class several times at Smicha Week. And many of those students sent me their ethical wills to look at. And one in particular was very proud. He gathered his whole family and shared it with all of them at the same time. And he had like 4 or 5 kids and a bunch of grandchildren. And he read it to all of them in person. So there's nothing that says you have to wait to die before you share it. It's up to you. I don't think there are any real hard and fast rules about this. It does seem to be, if you read about it online or other places, it does seem that it's a Jewish tradition There were some ethical wills that I looked at that were written in the 16th and 17th centuries by Jewish people. They're very different than the ones that are being written today, but they're important. And they were mostly about the ethical questions and about Judaism and how to live the best Jewish life. But I don't think you have to be Jewish to write an ethical will.
Or to love Levi's.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
A corollary of the I'm sorry is to think of the 10 most important I forgive yous.
Great. Fabulous list. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm taking that one. Thank you, Bush. That was great.
There's an interesting book called The Four Important Things, written by a close colleague, about the 4 things you should do before you say goodbye. And it's, I love you, I forgive you, I'm sorry, and thank you.
Yeah. Right? Yep. There's a whole practice that people have around those 4 things and how they fit into their life. And yeah, they fit into almost any circumstance you can think of. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I remember in particular when my mom was passing, and it was about, now it's 2006, so 20 years ago. This year will be 20 years, right? And I remember thinking of that. It's Dr. Ira Byock who wrote that book. And I always said to Mom, I love you. But I didn't say thank you. And I remember saying to my mom, she had a glioblastoma, so we knew she had a limited time left. And I said, thank you at one point. And she said, for what? I said, for all you gave me, all you did for me, you and Daddy. Daddy had passed 3 years prior. I just thank you. And she said, this is my job. This is my job.
Very pragmatic.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Lovely. So that's a story you could put in an ethical will.
Oh, we got a lot of stories from my mom from my ethical will. Yeah.
All right, my friends. Red Mark. Perhaps we could, if there's anybody who has anything else I want to say, I want to do that first. And then I'm thinking about singing Teach Us to Treasure Each Day.
Ooh, that sounds nice.
Anybody have anything else to add to our discussion? I had a great time tonight. I hope you all got something out of this and enjoyed each other's company and the conversations. I appreciate each one of you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Shulamit. It was
you're
wonderful.
welcome. Thank you for being here, Ilana.
Thank you. This
And
was great.
all of you. You ready to sing?
Teach us, that's too low. Teach us to treasure each day. Teach us to treasure each day, that we may open our hearts to your wisdom. Oh, teach us to treasure each day, that we may open our hearts to your wisdom. Oh, teach us to treasure each day. Limnot Yemeinu, Limnot Yemeinu, Limnot Yemeinu, Kein Hoda V'navi Levav Chochma. Limnot Yemeinu, Kein Hoda V'navi Levav Chochma. Treasure each day. Teach us to treasure each day. Treasure each day. Oh, teach us to treasure each day. Sing that part with me. Treasure each day. Teach teach us to treasure each day. Treasure each day. Oh, teach us to treasure each day.
So thank you all so much for being here tonight. I'd like to bless us all that we smile when we remember them, that we share our memories with other people, that our ethical wills, our wisdom, and our stories live on after each of us with ease and with grace.